The election is almost here, and thank goodness. I can't wait for this thing to finally be over, hopefully with a Donald Trump win. And speaking of which, today we have some excellent news from Atlas Intel, who apparently was the most accurate pollster from the 2020 election, and they have Donald Trump winning the Electoral College 312 to 226, with basically Donald Trump sweeping all of the swing states: Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Nevada, Arizona. This would be amazing, and I've got my fingers crossed that we can stop the shenanigans before they start, because things are looking really good in the early voting. Now, one of the reasons Kamala Harris is floundering is because she has been flip-flopping on so many major key issues that people really don't know what to believe. And I just say, you know what? She's a leftist. She campaigned as a leftist, so guess what? Her beliefs are leftist as well. And guess who lets the cat out of the bag on this one? AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez herself, that self-avowed socialist bartender who answered a casting call to get her current position. But before we get to these clips, please like and comment on this video so we can break through the algorithms. Here we go.
We also must mobilize for an affirmative vision for this country. We can't just mobilize on fear. We need to be clear about what the stakes are. We do. But I don't believe in a fear-only approach. And I'll tell you what I believe. I believe in a bare minimum. Listen, a $15 minimum wage needed to be passed several years ago, but doing that day one and fighting to hike that even higher. I believe in guaranteed, improved, and expanded Medicare available to every single American. I believe in all, a wide swath of our progressive agenda. I understand that a lot of people may say Kamala Harris may or may not believe in these things. First of all, I think she believes in them like much more on a personal level than oftentimes what campaign rhetoric 14 days out from an election would have someone believe. But not only that, we just can't give up.
Yes, AOC essentially affirming everything we think about Kamala Harris. Yes, her personal beliefs are very progressive. Now, how in the world can we know this? I don't know. Go back over the last 5 years and listen to anything she has said up until about 6 months ago. That's how we know exactly what she believes. That's how we know she's a progressive socialist leftist. And notice AOC brings up another important point. 14 days out from an election, we expect to hear a certain rhetoric from a candidate running for president. Remember, the left has to always hide who they actually are to win elections. That's why in all of their primaries, they run to the left to get the nomination. Then for all the general elections, they run to the center to try to win, to try to fool the American public. This happens over and over and over again. It happened with Biden. It happened with Obama. People elect them because they think they're centrist. They're going to bring the country together. Everything's going to be great. And then what happens? They rule like authoritarian leftist communists. Okay, that is the same MO over and over and over again. Of course, the leftist media is going to do all they possibly can to help Kamala Harris across that finish line, including misrepresenting every single thing that Donald Trump is saying in this segment with Byron Donalds over on CNN.
Congressman, thank you so much for being with us. I want to play a little bit of what Donald Trump said last night about protecting women.
I said, well, I'm going to do it whether the women like it or not. I'm going to protect them.
All right. Why is Donald Trump telling women he will do things whether they like it or not?
John, that is grossly inaccurate what you just played. Play the full clip, play it in its context. He was talking about the tragedy at our southern border that led to the death of Jocelyn Nungare. Jocelyn's mother has come out and endorsed Donald Trump because she fully believes that if Donald Trump was president, her daughter would be alive. And so what he was talking about was, I'm going to protect women. I'm going to protect children. And then he was just telling a joke. Really, he was telling a joke about how some of the staff said, no, don't say you would protect women, because they would take it out of context. Obviously, what CNN is doing right now, taking it out of context.
No. You're actually, you have the exact right context. You have the exact right context here, Congressman.
Aliens, especially violent, illegal alien criminals who have raped and who have murdered women in the United States.
Congressman, you just explained the exact right context was what Donald Trump's story was telling people how people close to him, okay, his advisors were telling him not to use that type of language, to say, I am going to be your protector. And John, that is the context in that speech. No.
John,
that was what he was doing. And then he said, And then he said, I'm going to protect them, the women, whether they like it or not. And I'm not the only one asking you about this language. Donald Trump, his advisors clearly knew it was an issue. And Nikki Haley has been talking about the language that Donald Trump... No, hang on, Congressman. Nikki Haley, this is what she said about the type of language that Trump and Trump supporters have been using. Listen.
I mean, this bromance and this masculinity stuff, I mean, it borders on edgy to the point that it's going to make women uncomfortable. You know, you've got affiliated PACs that are doing commercials about calling Kamala the C word, or you had speakers at Madison Square Gardens, you know, referring to her and her pimps. That is not the way to win women.
So you're telling me there's no concern from Nikki Haley or, clearly, as Donald Trump said, from people close to him, his campaign, about the type of language he's using?
John, listen, I love the selective editing this morning. You guys are conflating two very separate things. Let's get to the core of the message that you played at the beginning. Donald Trump was talking about protecting women and children in our country from the ravages of illegal immigration. You see it now. We all know the headlines. Jocelyn Nungaray, Rachel Morin, Laken Riley. These are women who were brutalized, killed, raped because the border. And so Donald Trump is going to protect women in our country. He's going to protect children in our country.
Why say whether
Harris,
they like it or
we
not?
have lost 350,000 children in the United States.
Why say whether the women will like it or not? Why say whether the women will like it or not?
What I will tell you is that, once again, if you're going to clip 5 seconds out of an hour speech and not provide context, this is why the American people, frankly, are frustrated with media, because you guys play games, you take things out of context, you don't explain them clearly, and you want to get caught up in semantics.
Yes, this is exactly why no one believes the media anymore, right? CNN plays this doctored clip, this 5 seconds of Donald Trump saying, I'm going to protect women whether they want to be protected or not, okay? And they ask Byron Donalds to respond to it. And immediately, hey, where's the context? They leave out that 30 seconds before where Donald Trump is saying, you know what? We have all of these illegal criminals coming into our country who are harming our women, and I want to protect you. But my campaign managers say, don't say that phrase, I want to protect women, because it doesn't play well for some reason. All right? But he turns around and says, I'm going to say it anyway because it's true. I want to protect women. There's nothing wrong with showing a little machismo, with showing a little masculinity and saying, guess what? I want to go ahead and keep this nation safe, especially the women in this nation, because guess what? They need a little bit of that right now because Kamala Harris has destroyed the border. And Byron Donalds, of course, does a great job of pointing this out. Yes, this is why the American people has lost trust in our news media, has lost trust in the supposed vaunted institutions we used to believe in, because we know how partisan they have become. Now, admittedly, later on in this segment, he does play a little bit longer version of it, leaving out all of the details about the criminal illegal aliens and just focusing on him saying, they told me not to say this, but I said it anyway. So once again, they doctored the very same clip they are trying to use to castigate Donald Trump. But let's go ahead and end on this clip of New Jersey Governor Murphy trying to say anything positive about Kamala Harris's policies without being able to name one he actually likes.
If we went on a checklist, you like all the things that you like Kamala Harris, not just against. So what are, let me ask you, do you believe we should abolish the filibuster? And you can answer after I do it. How about getting rid of private insurance? How about taxing unrealized gains? How about nationalizing energy? How about mandatory gun buybacks like Australia? How about decriminalizing illegal crossings, ending cash bail, child gender reassignment surgery being paid for in prison? I mean, what are your, raising the corporate tax rate, what are your favorite proposals from Kamala Harris that make you like her so much? Which of those?
For a Jersey guy, you sound like you're on the Trump campaign, for crying out loud. Come on, man.
Okay, well, which of those
do you like? Cherry-picking stuff.
Which of those do you like? Which of those do you like?
No, I'm saying I'm not wild about on unrealized gains, but I'm
what are you wild about? What are you wild about? Not Trump?
Here's what I'm wild about. I'm wild about a democracy that works. I'm wild about the rich history of our country continuing for the future. I'm wild about opponents having a voice and having a seat at the table, as opposed to being thrown in jail or hunted down by our military. That's what I'm wild about.
But we might throw Trump in jail. The Justice Department was not weaponized under Trump. It's been weaponized under the current administration, right?
I mean, Joe, come on. You got to be kidding me.
Okay. I don't know. I haven't seen Trump. I haven't seen Trump throw anyone in jail, but I have seen a lot of lawfare against Trump.
There's no rational viewer right now watching this discussion that thinks that Harris is the authoritarian threat versus Trump. There's no one who's reasonable who comes down in that conclusion. How could you?
He had a really easy job. List one policy from Kamala Harris you actually like. He could have said, hey, I don't like any of the ones you listed, but I do like this over here. But he didn't do that. All he did is say, I love open discourse. I love America. I love a bright future. Holy crap, what a politician answer, right? There is not one policy you can point to that would actually be beneficial for the American people or the country. And that's basically the long and the short of it, because Murphy couldn't even name one off the top of his head. So thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.